Good morning, students. Today I will be discussing about apheresis. The term apheresis means to carry away or to take away. So what is apheresis? Apheresis or hemapheresis is the removal of whole blood from donor or patient, separation into components, retaining the desired or unwanted component, and return of the remaining constituents to the donor or the patient or the recipient. That means apheresis, it is a medical technology in which the blood of a person is passed through a apparatus or an equipment, and the returns the remainder, that is which is not required, to the circulation. This is an extracorporeal therapy. Extracorporeal means it is a medical procedure which is performed outside the body. In simple words, if I have to say, it is the withdrawal of blood from the donor's body, removal of one or more component such as plasma, platelets or WBCs from the blood, and transfusion of the remaining parts, that is of the blood, back into the donor or the recipient is called as apheresis. Is that clear? I repeat again, apheresis, it is the withdrawal of blood from the donor or the recipient, removal of one or more components, that is which component is required, that component is removed, such as platelets, plasma or WBCs or RBCs from the blood, and the remaining component, that is which is not required by the patient, the remaining component is again transfused back into the donor or recipient. This technique is called as apheresis. Next, if you are clear with the definition, next we move on to the indications of hemapheresis or apheresis. That is, apheresis, it is also called as hemapheresis or it is called as cytapheresis. Now, indications of apheresis. First main indication is for transfusion purpose. As we have seen in case of blood component preparation, it is mainly used for transfusion purpose. Same way here also, it is used for transfusion purpose. If you separate the platelet, it is called as plateletpheresis. That is, according to the component which is separated, which is taken away, the name of the pheresis is given. So, plateletpheresis. If you are separating leukocytes, WBCs, then it is leukapheresis. If it is the separation of plasma, then it is plasmapheresis. I repeat again, if you are separating the platelets, it is plateletpheresis. Leukocytes, WBCs, then leukapheresis. Plasma, it is plasmapheresis. There is also separation of peripheral blood stem cells done. To remove the pathological component, the term is called as therapeutic apheresis. What is pathological component? Pathological component means one which causes disease, which causes problems. So that's why that component is removed from the patient. That is, we are giving a treatment to the patients. That's why it is called as therapeutic apheresis. If you go back to the definition what I have told, if you see there, I have told there withdrawal of blood from donor or the recipient. Then again, after the separation of the component, the remaining component is given back to the donor or the recipient. The reason why it is told is the indication of apheresis is either for collection of the component for transfusion purpose, that is from the donor, and for therapeutic purposes, that is in case of pathological component separation. That's why we call it as for separation of components from donor or recipient. Next, moving on to the donation criteria. As we see general blood donation criteria, similar way Here also in case of apheresis technique we have donation criteria. The general donation criteria will be same as such, with slight more variations in case of apheresis donation criteria. So donors for apheresis procedure must meet the criteria applicable as the donor for the normal donation. That is, ABO and RH typing must be done, testing for transfusion and transmitted diseases, antibody screening, etc., which are the general donor criteria that must be definitely followed. Other than that, the first point, drug history should be obtained, which is also obtained in case of general donation, where we ask for the patient whether we ask for the donor whether the donor is on aspirin or aspirin containing medications. I have told in case of platelet concentrate preparation also, if the donor is taking aspirin or aspirin containing any drugs, the problem here is that aspirin will affect the platelet function during the last 48 hours. So there is no point in collecting such blood for platelet pheresis. That's why this point is very important. That is, the donor must not take aspirin or aspirin containing medications for the past 3 days. Why? Because the aspirin or aspirin containing drugs will affect the platelet functioning for the last 48 hours. Donation interval. Normally, the donation interval in case of general donor requirement, the donation interval is 8 weeks, that is 56 days. In case of platelets, the donation gap should be at least 72 hours. 72 hours means 3 days, at least 3 days of gap must be there. That is, in a week it shouldn't be more than 2 donations per week, only 2 donations, not more than 2 donations. If in a month, it should be 4 times in a month, and in a year it should be 25 donations. This is the maximum donations a person can do regarding platelets. There again, the platelet count should be done in such persons. The platelets should be adequate, that is more than 1.5 lakhs. Plasmapheresis donors may donate as often as 48 hours, but not more than twice in a 7 days period. That means the person, the donor for plasma donation or plasmapheresis, he can donate he may donate once in 2 days also, but not more than 2 times in a week. This must be noted. That is, here, even though it is a donation for treating a patient, but we must take care of the health of the donor also. Keeping that point in mind, we are supposed to take only 2 times in emergency cases, only 2 donations per week in case of plasmapheresis. In case of plasmapheresis or repeated cytopheresis donors, they should be tested for plasma proteins and for anemia. The total serum protein concentration should always be above 6 gram per dl. Next, moving on to the general requirements. The last point there is the written informed consent must be obtained from the donor as well as from the patient. That is, as already told, donor in case of donation, and patient if it is for therapeutic purpose. This is the general procedure what we follow in case of regular donation also. Now coming on to the general requirements for apheresis technique. First of all, the apheresis procedure where it is conducted, the room should be well ventilated, that is well lighted, it should be pleasant enough and air conditioned. It should be a good working environment should be there, and also the equipments should be in good condition. The staffs should be a well-trained staff, that is either nurses or technologists, should have a proper knowledge of apheresis technique and the use of equipments. Availability of physicians in any case of complications must be ready. That is, before starting with the apheresis technique, physician must be informed regarding the technique. A first aid kit which is always there in the blood bank but still should be made ready. Standard operating manual should have the following details. Standard operating manuals, you call it as SOPs, should be ready. So what and all the SOPs should contain? Standardized protocols and policies for component collection and therapeutic procedure. That is how the collection is done. The procedure must be written in the SOP. Quality control of equipment and apheresis products. We have seen in case of blood component procedure also, the instruments quality control is done, as well as the product, the components quality control also is done. If you remember, each component at the end quality control, we used to say that in a pack, in a lot, minimum 4 pack of the components are tested for the quality control, right? The same thing is carried out here, that is the quality control of the product, apheresis product. Management of adverse reaction, that is you have seen in case of regular donors collection also. Suppose there is any donation issues, the donor feels giddiness, or he is having some weakness or cramps. In such cases, how to manage those effects, those reactions must be seen or must be known by the person who is collecting, that is the technologist or the nurse. Post-apheresis care. In case of regular donation also we have seen post-donation care was there. Same way here also, in case of apheresis technique, the technologist must know the post-donation care, that is post-apheresis care. Then after that, proper record keeping, that is how to maintain all these records about the collection and the processing, how the record is maintained. All these things must be written in the standard operating manuals. I'll repeat again, in a standard operating manuals, the following details must be incorporated, that is standardized protocols and policies for component collection and therapeutic procedure, quality control of equipment and apheresis product, management of adverse reaction, post-apheresis care, proper record keeping. The last and the final one is, which is already told, the written consent. The written consent must be taken after explaining the procedure, its possible risks and benefits to the donor as well as the recipient or the patient in case of therapeutic apheresis. The written consent is also taken in case of your regular donation, but here special care must be taken. The entire procedure, stepwise procedure, must be narrated to the donor or the patient, so that they the donor or patient is at ease.